Alright, so let's imagine there's a mum or a dad watching these videos at home and they've decided that they don't want their son to continue going through this experience at school. What advice would you have for them?
Yeah, I guess part of it is these videos are built for someone who's got a son who's been going through a long-term bullying thing, and hopefully the school's already taken some action. If they haven't though, you've got to hold them to account. The school is not going to get more enthusiastic about solving this than you are. So they're going to reflect your enthusiasm back to you like a mirror. So it's important that you are viewed by the school as someone who's going to keep persevering and getting this dealt with until it's solved. Because they're going to evaluate how serious is this parent. You know, they got 12 other parents who are doing the same thing, and they're going to decide, oh, this parent's really adamant. This is going to cause us more time and energy if we don't deal with it. We need to deal with this over the other priorities that we've got. So it's important to make sure you document everything: times, dates, places, events. It's important to make sure you're specific. It wasn't, oh, my son felt bullied. It's my son was kicked, or my son was hit, or my son was sworn at and was told this, this, and this. So you want to be really specific. You want to go to each level of the school until it gets dealt with. So if your child's teacher does nothing, that's okay. The next time you go one level above, like the head of department. The next level you go the deputy. The next level you go the principal. And don't even stop there. If the principal's not getting you a result, go above his head. He works for someone. It might be the school board, or it might be, I don't know, the Department of Education there. But you have to fight for your kid here, because if you don't, you're saying to your child, you're not worth it. And that's just not really helpful.
Alright, Michael, so we've been through how important it is to make sure that the school's staying on top of their end of things. But what's the next step to getting a plan in place to make sure that this is carried out?
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of the times the schools will pacify parents with nice words. Oh, we'll do this or we'll do that. And more than half the time they won't follow through because they'll get busy or they'll be unaware of what's going on right under their noses. They're not aware of it. So it's a matter of getting a documented plan from the teacher or the principal. By that stage, it's at the principal level, of what are the steps they're going to take to make sure that your son is safe from these forms of harassment. And it's important that if that's a verbal meeting, you go home, put in an email to that principal. So these are the things we discussed. Thank you very much. And I'd like to check in with you again on these things in a fortnight or whatever. Once you've got a plan, you've got a way forward. Until you've got an actual step-by-step plan, words don't change lives. Another thing is to be a really sane advocate for your child, okay? Not a crazy one, not someone who goes in full of emotion, crying at the principal, demanding stuff. Nah, it's not going to work. Go in, be sane, but be clear about what you want, and be clear that if you don't get what you want, you're going to have to take it further, which you don't want and they don't want, because there's never been a more important time for you to stand up for your son.
All right, Michael, so one common question on parents' minds is, should they change schools to help their son escape bullying? And in extreme cases where the child is basically the whipping boy of the school, they have this reputation as a weakling, as someone that you can pick on and get away with it, as somebody who's not going to stand up for themselves no matter what the situation is, then sometimes that reputation can become irreparable, and that label sticks with them for a long time. So in that case, changing schools might be a positive thing, but there are things that need to be taken into consideration then. So the number one thing is that if we change schools without changing the strategies, we're just going to end up the whipping boy at the next school.
Yeah, that's so true. And it's almost like people think changing schools is the magic solution. It's part of the solution. I mean, without those new strategies, unless your child learns to have a bit of confidence, learns to have body language that suits someone who's not going to continually be hassled. You know, like some kids, they just walk around like this the whole time, and you can just know that they're going to get snapped by their peers. And until he learns to break out of that, you can change schools, but it's a cycle. So I hope that your son gets a heap out of these videos, and then maybe it is worth changing schools, because there is a point at which a reputation is irreversibly wrecked. And then what's the point of staying at a school to have another 2 years of failure when you can't win from there? It's like in a workplace. If I was at a workplace that I'd done something atrocious at, I hate to think, just something terrible at, I wouldn't stay there. I'd leave that. I'd go and get a new workplace so I could have a new start, because I don't want to spend 40 hours every week feeling like a failure and being viewed as a failure. Well, it's probably the same with your son in school. So you really want to look carefully at, if he's got new strategies, getting him to that other school.
Absolutely. So we're not just making the same mistakes over and over again and ending up in the same spot.